a place where even the flow of time lost its way and lingered. Deeply hidden within the greatest folds of the world was the gray valley named Earl. The sky here was always covered with heavy ashen clouds, and even the cries of nameless birds scattered feebly into the thick mist. Brilliant histories and epic tales of heroes from the outside world could not cross these colossal mountains. Like an old jewelry box someone had forgotten at the edge of the world, the Valley of Earl remained isolated, breathing its own slow breath. The people here grew old just as they were born, and the seasons merely repeated themselves tediously, like flipping through an old black and white photo album. When spring came, they tilled the hard earth, frozen solid, with blunt plows, and when the cool autumn wind blew, they harvested coarse, tasteless wheat, and when the long, harsh winter arrived, families huddled by narrow fireplaces filled with soot, falling silently into sleep. Days where yesterday and today were the same, and tomorrow would be no different. For hundreds of years, there had been not a single miracle here. But however barren the land, seeds will slowly sprout in places unseen. One early morning, covered in a particularly thick mist that hid even a single step ahead, something broke the heavy silence that had enveloped the valley for hundreds of years. The sound of rough footsteps treading on squelching mud resonated. Splish, splash. That sound, rhythmic yet somehow touched with haste, was sharply cutting through the quiet air of the village that had not yet awakened. Emerging from the mist were the old elders of the village, their shoulders heavily draped in layers of animal furs. Across their deeply wrinkled faces, an unknown yearning and fear, suppressed for a lifetime, intertwined as they passed by. Leaning on coarsely carved wooden staffs, gasping for rough breath, they climbed the hill. Their destination was but one place, the old, colossal castle of the Lord, soaring high atop the steep hill. Greek! The massive, heavy oaken door opened with a pained scream. The elders stepped into the dark, great war room, floored with cold stone, without even shaking off the mud. There sat the Lord of Earl, motionlessly leaning his chin on his hand upon an old throne. In this colossal room without a window, only a few torches mounted on the walls flickered, dimly illuminating their grim faces. A suffocatingly heavy and long silence followed. Only the shadows cast upon the walls danced whenever the torches flickered. At last, the eldest elder opened his mouth with a trembling voice. "Great Lord, we are now so very tired. Seasons that flow without any change, days repeated meaninglessly like a treadmill. Our souls have withered away in this futile life. Our land now needs something entirely different." The elder's hoarse voice echoed. The Lord, who had been resting his eyes, very slowly asked in a low tone, "What What exactly is it that you all desire so desperately? At that moment, an intense flame ignited within the old elder's blurry eyes. He answered firmly, "It is magic. We want a wondrous land ruled by magic." Magic. The moment those letters scattered, the air in the room seemed to freeze cold, for it was a word so dangerous and alluring that it had been taboo for hundreds of years. The Lord exhaled a deep, painful sigh. He was already intuiting the end of coveting a vast power, yet facing the glistening eyes of his people yearning for anything, he ultimately nodded heavily. "Call Alveric. Summon my proud son immediately." Upon the Lord's command, the sturdy Prince Alveric soon walked vigorously. Wearing worn leather armor, his eyes were shining clearly. The Lord pointed eastward with a trembling hand. "My son, depart to the east, cross the boundary to legendary Elfland, and from there bring back the Elf King's daughter." It was a reckless journey that an ordinary human could never return from alive. Yet in Alveric's heart, excitement toward the unknown world flared up. Draped in a worn leather cloak, he walked silently toward the east, never looking back, to the unknown land where the dull light faded. It was the first page of a beautiful story for the Valley of Earl.